Hey everyone, Shakarez here, and welcome to another item analysis video. Today we'll be looking at Frost Queen's claim and specifically how good it is on mid laners. So, why might it start being a thing? Overall, it's a very cheap item that provides similar stats to other items mages usually go for, like Morellonomicon or Athene's Unholy Grail. Added to this, it also generates gold and has a very strong active. Okay, let's start by doing a cost analysis of the item to see why it is so strong. Currently, as of patch 5.24, the item costs a mere 2,200 gold. It grants 50 AP, 150% base mana regen, and 10% cooldown reduction. The item is 97.2% gold efficient, meaning it's worth 2,137.5 gold. However, we have to take into account that the item grants 2 gold per 10 seconds, and the tribute passive gives 15 gold when you hit an enemy champion or tower. Not only this, it's likely that you bought Spellthief's Edge or Frostfang earlier, so you've already accumulated gold from the tribute passive or the passive gold given. Now, if you're going to be using Frost Queen's claim on a mid laner, you're supposed to use it as a substitute to Morellonomicon or Grail. If you compare the three items, notice that its biggest downside compared to the other two is that it only gives 10% cooldown reduction and 50 AP. On the plus side, it has 150% base mana regen, which is higher than the two items. Obviously, Grail also has the Chalice passive. It's also the cheaper item out of the three, 350 gold cheaper than Nomicon and 600 gold cheaper than Grail. While it's not considered gold efficient, we have to remember that the item gives gold via GP10 and the tribute passive. It's also worth mentioning that after accumulating 250 gold, you'll essentially match the gold efficiency on Morellonomicon. Obviously, we also have to take into account passives and actives. Grail gives a lot of extra mana from the Chalice passive, and Nomicon has Grievous Wounds, that now has reduced value since they changed it to only affect self-healing. Besides the passive gold gain and the tribute passive, Frost Queen's claim has a disgustingly strong active, the Old Twin Shadows active. It sends out 2 ghosts that will seek nearby champions. These ghosts slow you for 4 seconds for 40% and reveal enemies, even when stealthed. The active is also available every 60 seconds. So the fact that it's a cheaper item tied to the gold generating passives means you'll be hitting a 2 item power spike somewhat sooner, and you'll be reaching the 3rd item power spike much sooner. I've been finishing games with 1,000 to 1,400 gold accumulated from the item. So, what champions should you build it on? It can be used on pretty much any mage that would normally go Athene's or Morellonomicon. Some champions have a better time proccing the item multiple times, but overall it's so strong right now that it really doesn't matter. Support mages like Karma, Lulu, Morgana, and Orianna are champions where you're mainly playing for utility, so the item fits like a glove. It's a decent tool for scouting and disengaging, and it's also really good to follow up on other CC spells that you may have in your kit. It also works great on poke mages like Xerath, Lux, Ziggs, and Vel'Koz, for mostly the same reasons as I mentioned for support mages. Since these are all low mobility champions, an extra slow can really be instrumental to flee, catch up, or be able to land your skill shots with more ease. It's also good on burst mages. While it might not seem as good, it can still be useful on champions like Ahri, LeBlanc, Brand, and Syndra, especially the last two, where hitting skill shots becomes infinitely easier when your opponents can barely move. Last but not least, I'd say it's worth trying on Twisted Fate as well. Despite him not really using Morello anymore and preferring a straight Lichbane, the item is cheap enough to make it worth it. It makes his lane super safe since you can constantly scout out for the opponent, and makes catching targets ridiculously easy since you'll have your ultimate and the Frost Queen's active. Now, another question that may arise is if you start Doran's Ring or Spellthief's Edge. Consider 2 things when making this choice. 1. Your lane, and 2. How easily you can proc the item in that lane. So, if you're playing against a strong laner, remember that going Spellthiefs is going to mean you're weaker. Sure, in the long run it'll mean you get some extra gold, but remember that in lane you're going to have less HP, less ability power, and you won't be able to get mana back from minion kills. Overall, I'd suggest starting Doran's most of the time and trying to accumulate at least 850 gold to get Frostfang on your first back. That's going to be it for this video. Remember to leave a like if you enjoyed it and to subscribe for more. I'll see you guys in the Rift. Shakarez signing out.